Just a summer of love, man.
I know.
We just had a fling, Bart.
That's sad. That's so sad.
Bart's like, I don't mind a one-night stand. Just don't act like you love me.
Yeah.
Have you ever imagined that somebody didn't like you?
Imagined?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's an example of a time that you were right about it or wrong about it?
Well, it's not an imagination if you were right.
And if there's a reason to it.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's asking though. Like you imagined it, and then you were either right or wrong.
Oh, like you had no reason?
Well, yeah, because like they don't know until there's something explicitly said.
Oh, like a fucking dream? Like you had a fucking dream? Like you're like, you don't like
Not
me,
like a
motherfucker?
dream, but like if someone was just acting certain ways that felt like they were clues, and you're like, I feel like this person doesn't like me. They never explicitly said they don't.
But that's not imagination then.
What is that?
That's a fucking good assumption, dude.
Okay, have you ever been right about that assumption with somebody?
Let me think about it, because your question was confusing me.
But then also, if you're wrong about the assumption, then you were just imagining it.
Yeah, now that's imagination. Yeah.
Has that happened?
Let me think about that.
Think about it. I think most of the time I'm under. Maybe this is just like a me thing.
You strike me as somebody that's always thinking people don't like you.
Yeah, I feel like most people think I'm annoying most of the time.
Annoying is the thing that you think they don't like you
People
for?
think you're annoying? Yeah, most of the time.
That's the quality? I feel like there's others.
Annoying, or that I'm just not liked. Yeah.
Ryan doesn't
You kind of nailed it, actually.
Wait, what? Why'd you nail it?
What about?
How did you nail that?
What about? I feel like in relationships there could be like you're thinking your significant other's mad at you or something.
Oh, yeah.
But then you find out they're not.
That's my default.
Really?
You feel like that happens all the time, right?
That's Bart's current.
I feel like it happens all the time.
Do you feel that way?
Who?
Bart's the opposite. He doesn't know that he's in trouble.
Yeah. That's probably better, I think.
You think as a default you tend to feel like people don't like you?
Yeah.
What is that like almost sort of like a fail safe?
I think so, probably. It's probably an error in my thinking. I think it's something that I'm like, yeah, that's probably not healthy for me to think that.
Do you think across the board, or generically speaking, you consider yourself misunderstood if somebody like doesn't get to know you?
No, not really. I just feel like I could see. I'm always like, yeah, I could see why you would fucking not like my ass.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'm kind of like that.
Would you consider your self-esteem pretty low?
Absolutely. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I think maybe I'm in a time in my life now where like, if you don't really,
Like me?
it's okay. It's totally fine.
That's pretty cool too. So you're not affected.
So you're okay with being misunderstood.
Maybe earlier in my 20s for sure I would be like, oh god. And I think a lot of I would want to try to get people to like me all the time, like too much. Yeah. But now I think I'm in a place where I'm like, yeah, that's like, it's too much stress on my own head, I think.
Also, what kind of positions in your life are you in when you really want people to like you?
You know what's funny? I think a lot of it started with like when I would try to get new clients, because a lot of it's like, oh, I gotta make sure they really like me and they train with me, right? Because it's like it's tied to a monetary thing. But after doing that for a while, you realize that like, yeah, you can't make everybody like you. Like some people will work with you because, for other reasons than you think in your head, right? So it's like, if they're not there to work with you, then that's fine too. Or maybe they'll find something else. Maybe we're not a good fit. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you kind of want to be around people you want to be with anyway. I think that's probably a natural progression that I feel like I've had.
Plus, it's kind of like, I feel like with your service, let's say that someone's hiring you to help them lose weight.
Yeah.
That almost takes precedence over whether or not they like
Exactly. And that's something that took me a while to understand too, is like, at the same time, we're trying to get a certain result, not really like for you to be like, hey, do you like me? Hey, do you like me as a coach? It's more of like, can we get the job done? And are you willing to go through this with me or whatever? But yeah, I think after a while,
It's like being a drill sergeant going, you guys like me, right?
no, that's the thing though, is like,
Success rate just goes lower.
Right.
especially when I'm teaching like some of the guys that are getting ready to compete for like jiu-jitsu competitions, it's like I have to give them the information like very bluntly. Like I can't like sugarcoat it, because if I sugarcoat this information, like this one dude competed at a tournament, and I told him after he competed, he didn't do that well, but I think he just jumped in it too early, and I had to tell him like, and I think maybe a couple years ago I would have not said this and I would have bit my tongue, but I was like, hey man, you can't go out here and compete unless you've got X amount of days training a week. for 3 months or something.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise it's like you go out there like it's still jiu-jitsu and it's like fun and games, but if you go out there, if you go out there unprepared, you're gonna not only lose, but then even worse, you can get seriously injured. And it's like, what's the point of that? You don't want to come here just to lose. You want to come here and give it your best shot, right? But I feel like a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't even said that. I would have been like, good work.
Yeah.
Nice, you know?
Oh, you're really becoming a black belt.
I don't know, dude. I just think it's like bigger picture. I think I'm just looking at things differently. I don't know.
You matured since you got your black belt.
Do you like me? That's fun though too.
After you got your black
mad at
belt,
me?
after you got your black belt, I liked you more.
Probably. I have more to offer, maybe.
Or do I?
Or do I? Yeah.
Do you like me? I don't know.
I feel like it's more like common in younger years, right? I think the
Yeah,
older
I
you
think it is
get,
too.
I think the less you care about that, and you're more okay with being misunderstood.
That's what I actually think in our generation, like the junior high, high school, you know how like you'll just be in a hallway, either you bump shoulders or like head nods turned into what's up? Oh, you want to throw it down? It's like just two insecure puppies.
That escalated quickly.
Do you like me or not? Because if not, we're just gonna fucking fight. We're gonna fucking fight it out right now. Yeah.
That's basically what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Or going like, hey, dude, your shoes are pretty cool, man. Where'd you get them? Just being friends.
Let's fight.
When you're younger, like when I was younger, I was so much quicker to judge people over and nothing. Like, just be like, oh, that's the shirt you wear? What a fucking loser, you know, whatever. But like, maybe not as fun. Yeah. Like, I'm just so quick to judge people. And as I got older, you realize, like, dude, I'm such an idiot. Like, why would I even think that?
I think it's such a weird thing. Like, when I was going to community college, there was this guy in my class who we had Japanese class at Cerritos College, and then there's this one white dude who just looked like a regular like Josh Hart looking white dude. Yeah. But all the girls fucking thought he was so fine.
But he was so dumb.
And they were always telling me, "Oh my god, he's so fine," and they would say it so much to my ear. I'm like, "Dude, he must be fine." And then like this dude always wanted to talk to me or like hang out with me
Because he thought you were fine.
He's just like a nice guy, but then I always thought he didn't like me because he was so cool. And I was like, oh, this guy doesn't actually want to talk to me.
But what if he thought you were really cool?
Like he's probably like secretly making fun of me, or it's ironic, or he's sarcastic.
Yeah.
But the whole time he was just totally earnest, and he like wanted to be friends. But I would always be like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to hang out after school? Yeah.
And then like later on, like years later, he's like, yo, you never want to hang out with me, bro. I'm like, what? Yeah, you were the coolest.
I would love to hang out with you.
But it's just like I was intimidated by like, there's no way the coolest guy in class will
As
hang
a
out with me.
kid, you don't have much to worry about, right? Like as an adult, you have so many other priorities and things to handle that the last on my list is worrying about whether or not somebody likes me. But as a kid, that's like your whole social dynamic.
Yeah.
Also though, like outside of just like, do they like me as a person or not? I think maybe when I was younger, my thoughts were more flooded with like the opposite sex of like,
does she like me?
Does she like me?
Dang, Anthony.
Sex having ways.
Always about lovemaking with this guy.
Or your homie will go to you and be like, dude, she likes you, and you'd be oblivious. You're like, what? Like, really? I had no idea. I mean, you're fucking flirting through third and fourth period all the time. You know what I mean? Like, so I think the conversations and the imaginations of always being like, oh, I wonder if she likes me. I feel like that shit was honestly fun. Now, as an adult, thinking of how innocent that was. You know what I mean? But at the time, it really was just everything all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
I think early on, it was so hard to answer this question because early on, I realized that like if someone likes you, it doesn't stop them from doing dirty, like shady things like backstabbing you. Like they can still like you, but they don't have loyalty towards you. So then in my mind, I think there's like, just because you're validated and accepted, there's no real value behind it. That's what I learned, I think, early on. So I don't care if someone likes me. I care if there's integrity behind this relationship. So then when I was, I think, growing up, I'm like, well, he's my friend, he likes me, but he'll steal from me. So we like each other, but he likes my things more, and he'll steal these things.
If he really likes you, though, you think he would steal from you?
He likes Well, I mean, there's a word like there's people that hang even like in the gang culture. Like you hang out all the time, but everyone's cheating and doing shady shit. Like it depends on the type of crowd you're around.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Just because someone likes you doesn't mean they won't fucking.
You can be likable and pleasant, and you can hang out and share like laughs and enjoy each other's company, but it doesn't really do anything but that moment. That's what I'm trying to get at.
That's like I like hanging out with this friend because every time I go over to his big house, his mom always feeds me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
You have a gain.
There's an incentive.
What's up, guys? If you do not know, we have a Patreon. I want you to click in our description and go over there and check out all the beautiful stuff we have for you. It's super duper access for only our super duper exclusive lovers like yourselves. You're gonna be getting one never been released director's cut every week. But not only that, you get another fresh, too hot for YouTube video.
We say some crazy shit on there.
2 videos a week. But not only that, you get to join our Discord and come chat with us, direct access. We're in there, the whole Careful Boys in there, jumping in, dogpiling on people, laughing, playing, joking, whatever. And you can come talk to us directly.
So if you like what we do and what we've been doing for the past 10 years, please support our Patreon and click the link below to get all the details.
There's so many different tiers. You can see it when you click that. Yeah, and then so I think like wanting to be liked was probably something that I didn't really think about unless it was like what Anthony said, like I like this girl and I want her to like me back. But then I didn't really think about that. I think the only maybe way I can relate is like if I had a friend and they didn't like me anymore. So I'd be like, what happened? Then it's like, you don't like me anymore. Why?
That's a funny
That
situation
hurts
to be in. I always felt like there was I feel like it's so linked with your current self-esteem.
Your self-image?
Yeah, I think because like there was like one of my exes had a dad who was so cool. He was like this white that dude that like worked at Oracle. He was like a sales guy at Oracle and he's so like snazzy, had all these classic cars. I always wanted to talk to him, but then I always felt like, man, this guy probably like looking down on me and shit. So I never took him serious as like a guy that likes me. Even though we got along, I was like, I bet he just like thinks I'm like shit, and then he's just trying to like be nice. And then like he was like a guy that contacted me way after like I broke up with that girl, and he like checked on me, and I was like,
Wow.
yeah.
He goes, you were one of the coolest boyfriends. I miss you, man. And you're like, I didn't even know you liked me.
Honestly, kind of, yeah. I did kind of say
You're the reason we broke up.
It's like our assumptions of other people
yeah.
deflect the possibilities of a friendship.
But it's my own self-esteem because I saw
But
myself
you're
as
right.
like, oh, I'm low,
So that
I'm beneath
prevented
this
you
guy.
from-
Yeah, I was like, oh, in the pecking order of life, like this
that
guy's
makes sense.
so made. He's like one of the guys that created.
That's the lesson, because that's why it's called building self-esteem, right? Like we
Yeah,
all start
exactly,
off
yeah.
with like a zero, basically a neutral plane, and then we have to go through shit in order to find ourselves
But
with it.
it's hard to like when I imagine all the things in my life that I had to do to reach net zero. That's a lot of shit. So I imagine some people never even get to that. Like they
Right.
spend their whole lives second guessing if anyone likes them all the time.
But I feel like there's airheaded people like me too that don't even ask that question. And they're still on the first stage of, do I even like them?
That's funny too. Yeah, that's like the inverse. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I think I spent a lot of time thinking that growing up is like, I'm not sure if I really like them or I like them. And then I'm hanging out temporarily, but there's never like this like, do I really like this person? They're around, and then maybe I'll drift away to a next person. So I never get around to feeling that feeling of, do they like me back?
Oh.
Yeah, as a friend group, So it's kind of weird.
Also during that time, I think it took me a really long time to acknowledge this to myself. It's like if somebody was like, I found out that somebody didn't like me, obviously like the cool thing to say would be like, I don't give a fuck.
But it hurt.
But then like, really? I gave a fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it would bother me in different ways, or I'd pretend that like it wasn't bothering me. But
You want to know why?
because I thought it would be like weak. And then you have to first go through the acknowledgement that it's like you are feeling that, and then afterwards go through the understanding that that's not weakness, like that's just your own compassion, and just figure out how to use it for like the benefit of your actual relationships. You know what I mean?
Also, some people just don't like you for silly things.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not even the reason why they don't like you is even credited to anything. It's just
That's true.
They just don't like you.
they just don't like you for
They don't like your
whatever
face.
reason.
Yeah.
Well, they're going.
There's no like they're going through some shit. It's like they're
Yeah.
projecting their own distaste for their own life onto you.
It does matter to me if someone likes me if I really respect them though.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because then if they don't, they're like, oh man.
Like Tim Kennedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like someone like him, or like my jiu-jitsu coaches, like people that I respect. That I'm like, oh, I hope they like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always think like, if you don't give a person a reason to dislike you, and if they misread you, then that's their bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think like when you're just not sure about yourself, like you think that you were the one who
Caused it.
said the wrong thing or behaved the wrong way, that you turned the tide on yourself. That part sucks.
What if you could immediately identify why someone doesn't like you?
I think I did when that happened to me.
Probably change a little bit.
Yeah, right. That's when you go, okay, I'm the one tripping.
I think I did, yeah, because I remember there was a point where like my friend group had extended, like I was hanging out with some like kind of more like gangster ass people, and I kind of felt like they didn't like me.
Because they're like, Ryan's a bitch.
I think they thought I was annoying because I was talking too much because I was so excited. Because this is when I was like 18 or something, and I think like I hadn't yet been a chiller. Like I was always talking, like I just couldn't fucking shut up. And I think like I just looked like a squealer, like a rat or something. So then like I've noticed when we were like at the mall, like they just would mid ditch me, like they would just walk away.
That sucks.
I was like, oh, okay, I'm annoying.
Oh, you know, it's like another way that's like kind of like that, but kind of not. It's like, let's say you meet someone, and then you guys hit it off, and like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then later on, when you go back to like either text or DMs, the same energy that goes back and forth isn't like that.
Oh, interesting.
You know, so then you're like, oh, I had a different understanding.
Oh.
Like imagine like we met at Stanford, right, during the show, and then like right away like me, Joe, and Anthony gelled a lot. So from that point on, we came back, started shooting skits. It was just like way more interaction, and that vibe stayed the same.
Yeah.
But imagine like, because that has happened to me, or even like with Thatch, it was like he did our podcast. Anytime I had advice, hit me back up. And if he ever didn't reply same day, he'll be like, yo, my bad, bro. I was fucking traveling. And he'll leave me like voice memos where it's like, I feel it's really personal. Wow. But then there's also people you do like the thing with, and then, hey, that was really cool, yada, yada, yada. And then just silence, a week, 2 weeks. And you're like, oh, I wonder how everything's doing. You just check back in like a month later, still silence. And you're like, oh shit, I misread the situation that I thought we had a really cool time or we had some sort of connection, but then we don't.
Well, how you know they're not texters?
Yeah, it could be just a miscommunication
Or
thing
they
too.
might be.
I feel like that's
or-
how it happens a lot of time when you meet when you're networking.
Yeah.
But that's the part that also makes me go, oh man, like,
Yeah.
they don't, like, the only way that I can take that is, oh, they don't like me as I thought I thought they did.
Or it's like it looks like when you go to like YouTube shit and you meet a bunch of influencers or whatever the fuck, like they're all acting like
It's
they
a
like
persona.
you, but they're just not. They're not acting like they like you. They're trying to act like they're likable. And I think that's misconstrued. It's like, oh wait, you weren't like, you didn't like me. You just wanted me to say that you were really cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me it would be like, let's say you do a YouTube thing, and it's a whole YouTube event with like 20 YouTubers, but then it ends up being you and this other new YouTuber the whole time. So like, okay, cool, we kind of have a cool thing, and we mesh, this is dope, and it's gonna take off into like this new realm that we've never been in, and then afterwards it turns into nothing. It just evaporates. Then it feels like, oh, I imagined you liking me, but it's actually you don't.
Do you think that interaction felt inauthentic?
I don't think it feels inauthentic. I just feel like I misread the situation. Like I thought it was more than what it really is. Because to me, I think actions always speak louder than words. So in the aftermath, I go, oh, this is how you truly feel. and then what happened then was not how you truly
It
feel.
was just a summer of love, man.
You know,
We just had a fling, Bart.
that's sad. That's so sad.
Bart's like, I don't mind a one night stand, just don't act like you love me.
Yeah.
That's why they say like the real ones are rare in the industry, right? It's like you don't really meet real ones.
And it's so easy to be real. You know, I don't understand like why it's so difficult to.
I disagree with that.
I think you're intrinsically better at being real. Though.
Well, you know what it is? Their real is shady. So
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, it's difficult for them to actually be real because their default is hiding and shady and manipulative and afraid and insecure. So I'm like,
And ugly.
but trust me,
Stop describing me, dude.
if you could get to the point of being just comfortable, you don't want to go ever back to anything else. It's difficult because that, to me, when you have that other mask and that, you know, that performance, it's very exhausting. I think, you know, there's like, yeah, I don't know how people do it. I can see it, but I accept people for what they do because it's natural. Like, they're afraid and they want to be accepted, but I don't know. We all can see right through it, though. That's the thing. It's like, you think you're fooling people. Most people think they're great performance actors, but I'm like, are you? Like, people can see it.
Yeah, I guess it depends on if you're. I think the reason I didn't see it for a lot of other people is I was so focused on myself not saying something dumb. Yeah. I was so like.
You're focused internally that you're not observing
I'm not looking at
who you're interacting with.
I'm more looking at how they're reacting to what I'm saying and doing.
The crazy thing is all of that shit, especially as an adult, like a real adult, is like all of that can be remedied through just good communication. You know what I mean? In any situation.
Most people suck at communicating.
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy. You don't even know, putting up a front, being fake, being real. Like, you could just, if you have honest conversation, you can figure everything out.
Yeah.
And that's the adult thing to do sometimes. Confrontation is very difficult for a lot of people. I know for a fact there's people out there in the world that like don't like me, but I also know that it's because like we probably just didn't have a conversation when we probably should have.
That takes practice.
No, yeah,
though,
that's
too.
true. Yeah.
Or some people might just even prefer the silence and not have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's a
think
more
that's
comfortable
most
thing to
people.
do.
Like, I don't even want to deal. I don't even want to confront or deal or talk.
It's cool. We'll just deal with it.
It's too scary.
Which is also
That's true,
a sign that like, for at least for me, those are people that shouldn't be in my
Yeah,
life.
they're not ready to have the relationship you're ready to have.
Some people actually like that they don't like certain people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's like the perfect opportunity to practice. It's like, okay, this is uncomfortable for me. This is my time to
true, yeah.
at least frame it like, hey, this is uncomfortable for me, but I'm gonna try to do this communication as best as I possibly
just
can.
to
This
improve,
is how I
Because
feel.
they've already accepted that they have something to grow and learn from.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're already there, then how do you do that?
And you're the problem. If I think Anthony Lee's the problem, anytime we interact or anytime I see Anthony Lee interact, I'm gonna find reasons why he's the problem in my
Hey,
head.
don't say my full name like that.
You know what I think is funny?
Anthony
Anthony
Lee.
Lee.
Yeah, he's just always looking at me with sex in his eyes, dude. I don't like it.
You know what I think is really funny that all humans do is we will completely hate a person that we've never met based on the representation of what they are, like a public figure.
Yeah, I hate J-Lo, dude. for
I've
that.
never fucking met this person. And I'll hate their fucking guts because of what they represent or the stories around this person. And we do it all the time to politicians, to celebrities. We do it all the fucking time. Even like, you know, people that we've heard of from other people, before we even meet them, we have a bias of who this person is. Because it's a shady motherfucker, you did my friend wrong. And it's good reason sometimes too. But at the same time, you never gave them a chance. And I think it's one of the most hilarious things ever. Because like, you never even met Trump, Biden, whoever, but you fucking hate their guts. And it's like, they don't even know you exist. And I think that's hilarious. That's like our haters. Like, we don't even know who you are personally, but there are people that fucking hate our guts. And I think that's just some of the funniest things about just the human experience is like, you can spend hours just dwelling and fucking hating someone you never met and like wasting all these like painful energies, and they don't even know you're there.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what Anthony was saying. They're not on like the self-aware timeline
No.
that they need to be on
Yeah.
to even overcome that.
That's true.
That's what Anthony said.
Yeah, that's what Anthony said.
That's what he meant, but he didn't eloquently say it.
That's what I assumed.
Hey, if you're unsure, let's just talk about it.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do this.
Shut up.